So notes 8.4, use the Pythagorean theorem. So it's very similar to what we were doing the other day. It's almost the exact same, but we're just going to go back over it. The Pythagorean theorem can be used to solve a variety of problems. So you're talking about your leg, and a hypotenuse. So it puts a professional ice hockey rink is about 200 feet long and 85 feet wide. What is the length of the diagonal of the rink? Okay, so we're looking for here. Anytime it's a diagonal, that's that right triangle coming into play. So they set it up as 200 squared plus 85 squared equals c squared. They got 40,000 plus 7225, and then they square rooted it. And so if we square root 47,225, we get 217.31. So if we round that to the nearest tenth, I'd say 217.3 feet for our length of our diagonal there, okay? So looking at the use of the Pythagorean theorem to write an equation. So right here we would say these sides, since it's a square, would be 6 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. And so what we ran into a couple of times on your homework page, I think that you're not writing it, you're trying to do it all on the calculator. I would set it up for sure so that I can see where my places are, so that I can see what's happening. And then 36 plus 36 is 72, right? So actually I'm going to take the square root of 72, and I get 8.48, which is about 8.5. So 72 equals c squared. The square root is 8.5. So c equals 8.5. Okay, so that's going to happen there. Same thing. A lot of times when they do a Pythagorean theorem problem on your unit exam, it's going to come up, or on like a star exam, if you were to see a Pythagorean theorem problem, it would have some kind of like tree. There's a tree here, and it has a ladder falling up next to the tree, and it tells you like all these measurements. That's how they're going to use that problem. So when that ladder's going up against the tree, it's forming a right angle right there. So then you know you do use the Pythagorean theorem. So like, how long is the kite string? So kite string from the ground is 30 meters. From here to that point is 25 meters. So you're going to say 25 squared plus 30 squared plus c squared. And remember what we talked about, that c is going to have to be bigger than 25 and 30. So 25 squared is 625, and 30 squared is 900. Okay, so 625 is 1525, and that's c squared. Okay, so we're going to take the square root of both sides. So take the square root of 1525, and we're going to get 39.1. So c equals 39.1. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm not doing all of my work right here where you can see it, but I'm setting it up at least so that you can see what my process is. And I can say, oh, you put your hypotenuse in the wrong spot. That's your hypotenuse, so it needs to be your C, or something like that. So right here, you have an A, you're missing your B, and then you have 15. So 100 plus B squared equals 225. Okay, so subtract 100 from both sides, and we have b squared equals 125. Well, there's not an even square root of 125, it's 121. So here we are, and I got 11.2. It's going to be feet. Okay, my last question is going to be 18 yards, so that's the hypotenuse. Here's my 7 yards, it's a leg, and then we don't know that, so that's a B or A, whichever one. So 7 squared plus B squared equals 18 squared. 7 squared is 49. Okay, 18 squared is 324. I should know that one, but I don't for some reason. Okay, subtract 49 from both sides, and we're going to get b squared. 324 minus 49 is 275, and then we're going to take the square root of 275 and get 16.58, which would be about 16.6. Okay, So there's kind of my examples and how it breaks down. We're still just doing some more. And then it's going to get into some more word problems. So like the TV one, and a lot of us made the mistake on that one because it said the diagonal. Well, if I'm talking about diagonal, I'm talking about this, which was always going to be my hypotenuse. So, and then remember, if it sets anything up against a tree, that we know that the tree is a leg. From the person to the tree doesn't like, or it does shadows sometimes too. I've seen shadow examples with Pythagorean theorem and other things like that. So the paper you're going to do has a front and a back. I want you to make sure you do it, and then you'll finish it for homework, okay? I know.